Hey guys, Cat Kom here with Studio Sweat On Demand, and I am here with my special guest, Purti.
Hi, Cat. Hi.
Purti is a member here at Studio Sweat, and recently, I think it was about a month ago, Purti came to me with the question. Go ahead, what was your question?
I came to you because I was heating up so much in the class, and I was just out of breath. I was feeling miserable.
Yes.
Basically, when you called out my name, I was zoned out.
Yeah.
I was on autopilot.
Yeah, and did you know why at that point?
Well, no, because I just had my physical checkup.
Yeah.
So I knew theoretically I was doing really well.
Yes.
Everything was, and I work out so often, so I knew that it shouldn't be happening to me.
Yeah, and one of the things too
out.
that you mentioned was that you didn't understand why other people weren't experiencing the same problem. You know, that you were just as fit as far as you knew, right?
That's true. Yeah, they seem to be all doing fine, and I was profusely sweating. So you don't want to turn on the fan because you feel like other people are gonna. They're going to feel cold.
Yeah.
So I couldn't figure out what's going on.
What was going on, yeah. And so, well, I think actually when you told me that, I don't know that we had identified that you were overheating yet. I think that is actually what I told you I thought was probably happening, was that she was overheating. And when you overheat, it causes your already increased heart rate to increase even more because it's trying so hard to cool down your body. And so if your heart rate is increased, and this is what I was explaining to her, if your heart rate increases to the point where it's going too hard and too fast, that's what happens when you experience heat exhaustion. And when that happens, you feel awful and it's hard to recover.
It is. Once it starts going downhill, it's out of control.
And it doesn't feel good, right? And it's humbling, that's for sure. So when she wasn't quite sure at this point what was going on, that's the first thing I said was, I bet you're overheating. And this is an indoor environment. You wouldn't think that would happen because it was even happening when it wasn't hot outside, right?
Right, yeah. It was, I think, like you said, it was a month back. It wasn't. Yeah.
And so that's one of the first things that I asked her. I said, okay, let's talk about your clothing, because when you're overheating, because I suspected that was probably the problem. We looked at her clothing. She was wearing clothing that did breathe, so that was good, and that's really important. I asked her about her hydration levels because that's the other thing that's really important. And you said,
yeah, I was pretty well hydrated. I was following your, 2 hours of tea, coffee before, 2 hours before the class, so everything theoretically was working.
Right, you were drinking water. I have a rule. I tell people you should always drink 16 ounces of water at least the hour before your workout, sipping on it, not gulping it. And then, of course, before you get thirsty, you want to be hydrating, right? So she was doing all those things. So I said, okay, the last thing, because everything else, the environment was fairly controlled. It was not like you were running outside and it was 100 degrees. So I said, well, you might not be getting enough airflow for you and your body because we're all individuals. And though I actually don't like the fan on me, you might need increased airflow. One of the common mistakes that even trainers make is they don't realize how important airflow is during a workout, not just for the wind element, but it's just important because it helps everybody's body cool. So what happens, Purti and everybody out there, just so you know, is that your heart already has to work hard to supply oxygen to your muscles during a workout, right? Well, what a lot of people don't know is that it also has to supply extra blood to your skin so that your skin can properly cool. It's what sending that blood there actually cools the core temperature of the body. So it's very important that you are getting the airflow that you need, and so that means fans on, doors open whenever you can. So Purti, one of the things that I told you was that you could do and should do was what?
Oh, turn the fan on, right? Like focused on me, and I did that right after the next class you told me.
Yep.
And huge difference.
Huge difference. All right, well, talk about the difference. Talk about it. So what you did was you turned a fan on in front of you, and you didn't feel bad about it, which is good. And
and it just felt great. I mean, I could be in the class mentally and physically both throughout the class for 1 hour. I felt good. I was sweating, but I was still cooling down.
Yeah.
And it just felt like I was in control of what I was doing there.
I'm so
rather
glad.
than, you know, just like the thing taking me over and I was just on autopilot.
Yeah.
It felt like I was consciously in the class and following your instructions.
Yeah.
But it felt great, and it made a whole lot of difference. I don't know how
it's
to thank
a life
you.
changer, like
Yep.
literally one little thing. So talk to your
Absolutely.
trainers if you're experiencing any issues like this. But if you are experiencing something similar to what Purti experienced, maybe that's what you need to try. So you check off those little things that we talked about. Are you hydrated properly? Are you wearing the proper cooling? Is your environment controlled? Is there airflow? There's always ways to troubleshoot this. There are other things that are outside of the general population that could be happening with you, but she had gone to the doctor and had everything checked out. So, you know, anything else you want to add?
Yeah,
Purti?
just like don't be shy to turn on the fan when everyone else seems not too overheated. It could be just you. I mean, every person is different. That's what you said.
They can find somewhere else to sit, okay? You know what? All right, you guys. And for those body sculpting, fat torching workouts, make sure you check out Studio Sweat on Demand.